creep. Now, so please pay attention. Before we understand what is the definition of creep, let me explain you it in the terms of some visualization, that some figures. Then you will understand it real. I already told this is kind of static failure. There is no any motion. Part is continuously loaded, statically loaded, and it is related to the failure with time. So time is very important factor in case of hurting. So failure of component with respect to time. If it will sustain for long time, we can say that creep is higher. If it will sustain at less time, we can say that creep is less. But not at normal circumstances, at higher temperature. So creep word is related to higher temperature, failure at higher temperature. The mechanism is similar to as like tensile test. Okay, but before that, let us understand the concept. Suppose this is one bar. This is at constant load. This is one rod, and this load is constant. And I'll keep it as it is. What will happen? It will remain years together. What I repeat? What I explain, I will repeat once again. If I will take one bar of particular diameter and I will apply the load, this constant load, it will be there in the position for years together. You are doing this at room temperature. Okay. Now, if you want to elongate this, what you are doing? Tell me. Now we are at room temperature and I want to observe the elongation in this bar. Tell me what I am supposed to do. Please unmute and answer. I repeat once again. Somebody put in chat. Increase the load. Correct. Very simple answer. I hope everybody knows this. So if we increase the load, automatically it shows the deformation. Either you have to increase the load or something you have to increase. What is that or? Tell now. Samruddhi, you have answered as a load. Can anybody else answer? What is second parameter? Correct. Temperature. Absolutely correct. So if I will keep this bar for constant load at room temperature, it will remain there years together. But I want to observe the deformation in it. Then I have to increase either of one. Either I have to increase load or for same load, I have to increase the temperature. Now, if I will go on increasing the temperature, let us do the experiment. I have kept some constant higher load, not in very less quantity. So this load is sufficient load. I have kept the sufficient load. It remains without deformation. Okay. Now room temperature is suppose 35 degrees Celsius. Now I will make the mechanism that the temperature of this bar increases with the same position. So I will start increasing the temperature. Instead of 35, now I made it 50 degrees Celsius. It remains there for a long time. So for 50 degrees Celsius, I have observed. Suppose I have observed the reading I have taken. I wait for few months, and it is observed that it starts deformation at around suppose 5,000 hours. 5,000 hours means approximately how many days? 5,000 divided by 24. It is 50. Around 200 days. Just check on calculator. So it remains there almost for 6 months. Okay. Means at 50 degrees Celsius, this specimen can sustain this load for 6 months. Time. Just I was mentioning the time. So creep is nothing but sustainability at higher temperature for constant load. Now I will repeat. I'm going to dictate the definition. Don't worry. Just see one by one. This happened at 50 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now I will take second bar. Means it has deformed now. I will throw that bar. I will take another bar. I will put same constant load, and now I take 100 degrees Celsius temperature. So it may remain for 4,000 hours. Actually, 5,000 is very less period I have told. It may not be this much less. It may be 10,000 hours. And here it may be 8,000 hours. So it will stand long time. Then means this 50 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Celsius are not giving any response. So temperature is also important parameter. Which temperature you have to select to observe the deformation. Now I select suppose 400 degrees Celsius. Suppose melting point of this bar is equal to 1000. Or let us take steel. Take one of the steel. Low carbon steel melting point is around 1200 degrees Celsius. Then what is 0.4 TMP? You know what is 0.4 TMP? It is recrystallization temperature. So approximately temperature selected should be that much. So if I have selected 400 degrees Celsius temperature, you observe that it starts showing deformation at maybe 5,000 hours. Means as the temperature increases, the creep strength decreases for particular load. So how to define the creep? So definition of creep is the maximum value of load, because stress and strength is related to load. It is going to relate with load. Maximum load sustained by the specimen for specific length of time at constant temperature. I repeat once again, maximum load sustained by the component for specific length of time at constant temperature. म्हणजे एक 6 महिने जर त्याने तक धरली अशी 6 महिने जर तो राहिला तर तो ओके. I can say that it is having good creep for specific length of time at constant temperature. And if you set these two parameters, load and temperature, in such a way that your specimen will not fail for 6 months. So you are free to use that in any of the machine component and you are safe. You know that after 6 months you have to replace it. Are you getting my point? So once I fix temperature and load, I know that this will not fail below these much hours. And so if I know what is the failure hours, failure means not breaking into pieces. It will start elongation. And this is static failure. It is not like fatigue. It will just show elongation. But this small elongation will also cause misalignment in the machine. That's why we have to replace it. And now you have fixed the temperature and load both. But either of it, if you increase, life of the component decreases. As simple as it is. Okay. So see, this creep test setup is having simple bar mechanism and heating mechanism. I will draw the figure. Before that, I will dictate you the definition. Write down. Slow and progressive, right? After this creep test, go to next line, write creep. Only creep you write, CREEP. Don't write creep strength. Creep. What is meaning of creep? I will tell you first. Slow and progressive deformation of material. Slow and progressive deformation of the material with time. Make underline the word with time. I repeat once again. Slow and progressive deformation of the material with time. Make underline the word with time at constant stress and constant temperature. At constant stress. At constant stress and constant temperature. Now in bracket, In bracket you write down this. This means what? Write down temperature constant means what? Approximately above 0.4 TMP. T stands for temperature, MP stands for melting point. Means whenever you want to observe the experiment, you must see that temperature is, suppose melting point is 1000. What is 0.4 TMP? 400. Accordingly, multiply the melting point by 0.4. So approximately above 0.4 TMP. So creep is nothing but slow and progressive deformation. This is called as creep, but at constant load and constant temperature, provided that that temperature must be more than this 0.4 TMP. Then that failure is called as creep. Next line, creep strength. Creep strength. Write down highest stress that material can withstand. Highest stress that material can withstand for specific length of time. म्हणजे 6 months I have to wait, 8 months I have to wait, 3 months I have to wait. A specific length decided by the maybe manufacturer or maybe as per the requirement. So this specific length is important. I repeat once again, highest stress that material can withstand for specific length of time without deformation at constant temperature. Without deformation at constant temperature. Highest stress that material can withstand for specific length of time without deformation at constant temperature. Without deformation means that is the sustainability, that is the capacity to withstand. In Marathi, in local language I will tell की जास्तीत जास्त स्ट्रेस किती सहन करू शकताय तुम्ही 6 महिन्यासाठी किंवा 8 महिन्यासाठी. स्पेसिफिक लेंथ वेगवेगळी असू शकते टाइमची. इफ यू कन्सिडर 1 year, की 1 वर्ष या लोडला तुम्हाला 1 वर्ष या टेम्परेचरला तुम्हाला काढायचे. एकदम सिंपल गोष्ट सांगतोय की वर्किंग टेम्परेचर समजा 500 डिग्री सेल्सिअस आहे आणि त्या 500 डिग्री सेल्सिअस मध्ये हा बार तुम्हाला कुठेतरी टेन्साईल कंडिशन मध्ये वापरायचा आहे. तर 500 डिग्री सेल्सिअस मध्ये तो किती स्ट्रेस सहन करू शकतो 1 वर्षासाठी, कारण टाइम फिक्स आहे आपला. आय रिपीट वन्स अगेन, हाऊ मच मॅक्झिमम लोड इट कॅन सस्टेन ॲट पर्टिक्युलर हाय टेम्परेचर फॉर स्पेसिफिक लेंथ ऑफ टाइम. दॅट इज नथिंग बट creep strength. I hope you understand better. Okay, and it is related to higher temperature. And now we'll draw the figure. Next line, the mechanism of creep test. The mechanism of creep test is as shown below. Draw figure along with me. Just I have drawn the schematic diagram. In book, you will get good quality diagram. I repeat once again, book bank facilities available in the library. Many of the students I am observing, they are coming and taking the books. So you can also come here and take the book bank or purchase the book of Kodgire. Book of Kodgire, notes like everything is given clearly. Okay, so I can request you to utilize your money positively in terms of books wherever possible. To whom it is not possible, you can take book bank, no problem. But who have capacity to purchase the books, you must purchase the books of subjects. When I was in engineering, I was having almost 50-60 books of my own. Please remember, you have to purchase the books, and in books you can get good quality of figures. You can get everything for long time, even as long as you are in industry. You can refer your books, maybe for higher studies also. And if you don't want to purchase the books, you can avail the facility of book bank from our library. And now almost we have only next 4 to 5 lectures. Our syllabus will complete, and then our test series will start. So you require, I am uploading my notes on the site, but better way for preparing thorough notes, you must have a book with you. So I have drawn the schematic diagram. This is a furnace. So for maintaining temperature, how much temperature you have to maintain, that may be maintained. This is a test model. At actual condition, your part may be working at that temperature. So to maintain that temperature, this furnace is kept around the specimen, and this loading arrangement is given. This is fixed at the bottom. This is your specimen. This much is specimen. This is holding mechanism. So in this way, the test is carried out, and you have to check how much load it can sustain for that particular temperature without deformation. So strain gauges are mounted, deformation is checked accordingly. Figure is over? Please reply whether your figure is over.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next line, write down. The figure shows schematic diagram for creep test. The specimen used may be circular or square cross section. Next line. Creep curve. So how the failure curve is drawn? So initially the deformation is negligible, but later on deformation increases. Pay attention. So deformation is nothing but strain. It is called as creep strain. This is strain, creep strain, and this is time. So usually curve will start in this way, and then it will start in this way, and then it will end here. So if you divide it into 3, this is primary, this is secondary, and this is ternary. Primary, secondary, and ternary creep. So what you are observing here, initially it shows less deformation. But later on, with due course of time, deformation start increasing. Okay. And then at end, after a particular period, it will show sudden deformation and part will fail. This is called as creep curve. Now, I told you, if you keep stress constant and temperature constant, for constant stress and temperature, it will remain for long time. But if you will increase either of two, there is a change in this creep curve. So in examination, number of times the question was asked, draw the net sketch of creep curve or explain the mechanism of creep curve, or only figure if it is asked, draw the effect of stress and temperature on the creep. So that effect I will show here now. You write the title, effect of stress and temperature on the creep curve. Constant stress. No, this is not strain, I am saying stress, constant stress. This is strain. So this is stress. So I want to say constant sigma is stress value. This epsilon is strain. So if you increase stress, strain will increase for constant temperature. For constant stress, if you increase temperature, strain will increase. So I have written constant stress. You also write in words, constant stress. Now, this is the creep curve for temperature T1. Same curve I have drawn here. So constant value of stress, constant temperature T1. Now what I am doing, I will keep the stress constant, but I will increase the temperature. How the creep curve means, how failure takes place earlier. See here. T2. What is meaning of it? Temperature T2 is more than T1. Then strength decreases. Failure will be at less period. Similarly, T3, T4. See the effect. Provided that T4 is greater than, T3 is greater than, T2 is greater than T1. As temperature increases, softening takes place. Automatically, it becomes more soft, and for that particular load, it will fail at less period. This is constant stress. Same curve you will get for constant temperature. You draw this figure first. Draw this figure. Constant stress. So as the temperature increases, the softening takes place, which will cause early failure. So if temperature T2 is higher than T1, see the time required for failure is less. Now go to next line and write down constant temperature. I will change here only. You don't change there. You draw a separate figure. Constant temperature. Now may I erase this figure? May I modify this figure?
Yes, sir.
You draw separately. I am making modification in the same figure, but you draw separate figure. Constant temperature. So only instead of this, I will change this one. Sigma 4, Sigma 3, Sigma 2, Sigma 1. Pen is not working today. Constant temperature, Sigma 2, Sigma 3, Sigma 4. So stress Sigma 4 is greater than Sigma 3 is greater than Sigma 2 is greater than Sigma 1. Draw this figure. Okay. So I have taken attendance. So I hope you understood the concept of creep. Creep is nothing but slow and progressive deformation for specific length of time And creep strength is maximum value of stress sustained for specific length of time at constant stress and constant temperature. So the question may be asked to as a sub question. It may be asked to draw the unit sketches. It may be asked in the MCQs. Okay, this is all about destructive testing. And now next part of this chapter is non-destructive testing. We'll start non-destructive. We'll not finish today. 1 more hour is required, but I will initiate. There are 4 or 5 types. Out of that, one type will finish today. Next line, non-destructive testing, NDT. Very important bit. So aim of destructive testing. I am not visible. Please reply. Somebody said I am not visible. Hello. Please reply somebody. Rhythm.
Yes, sir. Visible.
I am visible, na? Okay. So, non-destructive testing. Very important thing, friends. We have to identify. We have to understand the significance of it. The aim of destructive testing is to check the mechanical properties. This is interview question I told. Aim of destructive testing is to check mechanical properties. Which are mechanical properties? Tensile strength, elongation, ductility, compression strength, impact strength, toughness, hardness, creep, fatigue, bending, shear. All these are mechanical properties. Aim of destructive testing is to check the mechanical properties. But aim of non-destructive testing is to check presence of cracks, blowholes, pinholes, or any other surface irregularity present in the component. I repeat once again, aim of non-destructive test is to check presence of crack, pinhole, blowholes, or any other surface irregularity present in the component. See, very simple. Inspection is carried out with the help of NDT. So even you have studied this, I think you came across this word in manufacturing processes. So there is a chapter of fettling in which inspection of the casting. So inspection of the casting include this various non-destructive tests are used for inspection of casting components. It is not only for casting, it is for all types of manufacturing processes. Once manufacturing process is over, you have to check whether it is defective or not. So for checking the defects, the non-destructive testings are used. That's why the word non-destructive. There is no question of breaking of component or deformation of the component or decrease in the life of component. That's why the name is non-destructive testing. Now, before we go to non-destructive tests, I'm telling very important thing, friends. Every year I used to tell this information to my students when I used to teach in class. And fortunately, few of the students have grabbed the opportunity and now they are earning in the lakhs with their own business. You know why? What doctors are doing? Doctors, means I am talking about doctors who are doctor of medicines. They are checking presence of any irregularities, defect, disease in human body. And you know that they are on most demand. Similarly, your machine may also fall ill. Not in true sense, but if there is any defect in the machine or machine component, chances of failure of that machine or machine component are more. So some doctors are required to check it, because it may be visible to you, it may not be visible to you, that crack or blowhole or pinhole or irregularity. So some mechanisms are used for checking of it. And for your kind information, the person who has cracked this courses, that person is international person, international personality, we can say. Means what? International personality means you, for month of January you are in Japan and month of February you are in US. Means everywhere you have the demand. What is this non-destructive testing courses? After this class, you Google. Don't do it now. Pay attention towards me. Only 10 minutes are remaining, 15 minutes. So after this class, during the break at 12:30 to 1:30, Google it. Non-destructive testing certificate courses. So there are 3 levels. Level 1, level 2 and level 3. If you crack 3rd level exam, then you may have that demand. Unfortunately, these courses are costlier. So many of the students are those who have capacity. They are investing in lakhs and lakhs for other courses. This is one of the options I am telling, friends. If you want to be a maintenance engineer, you have to just take your kit in your hand and you have to on the travel. So non-destructive testing certificate courses, level 1 around 50,000 rupees, something 25,000 rupees. Level 2 and level 3 again it goes around 1 lakh rupees. If you crack this examination, there are many NDT resource persons. See, now it is not the thing you become doctor and you start earning in lakhs and crores. Not in that way. You have to put your skill. If you will not make good diagnostics, if you जर व्यवस्थित त्या मशीनचे उपचार नाही केले तर people will not call you. Means you have to acquire the certificate first. You have to practice with somebody. Then only you will become an international person. But it is one of the way I told. There are many NDT resource persons in Pune and around who are visiting the organizations on call. Most probably in Gulf countries, there is a huge demand for the NDT resource persons. Huge demand. Why it is huge demand? Because Gulf countries are working on petroleum and gases. Small leakage in such petroleum and gases will cause explosion. That's why ongoing projects or throughout the line, underground lines, under sea water lines of the petrol, diesel and gases are to be inspected on periodic basis. So Gulf countries are also having most demand for this NDT resource person. So if anybody interested, you can do your career after graduation in this NDT resource person. Now what is the mechanism? This is for extra information I have told, and you can take benefit of it. Non-destructive test, there is a list. First write down the list of NDTs. So aim you write. The aim of non-destructive test, the aim of non-destructive test is to check presence of crack, comma blowhole, comma pinhole, or any other surface irregularity. Any other surface irregularity means what? Irregularity means surface is not continuously regular. The one test is the eddy current, that I will explain you at that time. Means it is just used in simple line you can write. It is used for measuring the defects, detecting the defects, not measuring. Sorry, measurement is there, but not for all entities. Some tests are only detecting, some tests are detecting as well as measuring. It is used for detecting the presence of defect. inside or outside the body of component. Inside or outside body of the component. Classification. Classification. Visual inspection. Sound test. Visual inspection, sound test, magnetic particle test. Dye penetrant test. It is also called as MPI and DPI. MPI stands for magnetic particle inspection, dye penetrant inspection. Ultrasonic test. Radiography test. ED current test. ED current test. Classification of entities. Now just pay attention. First test I have written visual inspection. First two tests, visual inspection and sound tests, are non-standard tests. Non-standard means what? Thumb rule. त्याच्यामध्ये असं काही खास स्टँडर्ड नाहीये, कुठलाही इंटरनॅशनल स्टँडर्ड नाहीये. It based on skill. I repeat once again. First and second tests are skill-based tests. So if the person is having more skill, he can detect it well. For example, नाडी परीक्षण. वैद्य जे असतात सगळ्यांनाच नाडी कळते असं नाही. ज्याचे स्किल चांगलं आहे ते नाडी पाहून असाध्य रोग पण सांगू शकतात की हृदय रोग आहे का मेंदूचा रोग आहे. आणि जे नवीन लोक आहेत नाडी परीक्षणामधले ते काहीतरी थोडंफार सांगू शकतात, ताप आलाय, अजून काहीतरी झालेलं आहे. So depends upon the skill of particular person, the tool tests. That's what is called as non-standard test. How it works? Very simple. You have casted something. In small casting, suppose this is duster, I have casted. You just observe it everywhere in the corner. If you have good eyesight, you can say, yes, here is a defect. You can just take marker and make round. If casting is big, you are just rotating the component in hand. But if casting is big, you have to take round around the casting, check everywhere whether the presence of any crack, blow, but limited to surface. You can only see at the surface. Okay. This is called as visual inspection. In visual inspection itself, you find somewhere part not get filled. Why to bring the machines and equipments? So by visual inspection, if you come to know either particular part ha bharlela nahiye, here some material loss, here there are some sand inclusions, then you can decide whether can we continue this casting as it is or we can reject it. Friends, remember, you have studied casting defects chapter in manufacturing process. This is okay, then if it is not okay, it is rejected. All these are theoretical things. Once you will go in industry, you will understand how rejection matters. One small casting of maybe 1 feet, cubic feet size, it may cost 2,000, 3,000 rupees. And if small defect is there, and you can't throw it, your owner or your manager will not permit you to throw it away. Because cost includes not only the cost of material, but cost of process, labor, overhead, including electricity, labor charges, and transportation and whatnot. So that's why Theoretically, we are saying defect, throw away. Practically, people are making it repairy. And then, if at some area which is not coming directly contact with maybe under stress or other loaded zones, let it be partly it is repaired. For example, our shirt, we are wearing the shirt. If you find the big hole here at this surface in the shirt, you will not purchase. Why? Because it is in the visual area. But below this collar, some problem is there. No problem, I am just folding it. That's why I can use that shirt. Same concept. So how much quantity is for the rejection? If it is carried out after the testing, it is decided that out of 100, 10 parts are rejected. No. Out of 10, they will repair 9 and only 1 they will throw in the furnace for remelting. So visual inspection is very important in that case. Why it is important? It may play a role maybe after the certain test. So your junior supervisor have rejected, but the senior supervisor or maybe the manager, general manager see it and they can see the effect. What will happen? This much small crack, nothing will happen, it will sustain. Pass. Okay and pass. Are you getting my point? But this is practical approach I have told in industries, but you have to remember it. Theoretically, you don't write it. Practically, they are accepting. You should not write in paper in this way. Okay. Visual inspection means just observing and checking whether it is okay or not. Second is sound test. This you have experienced. Sound test. If you go in market to purchase the adhan pot means मातीचं भांड, dera. You have seen. What the person is doing, who is selling that adhan pot, he used to have one stone in his hand or coin, and he used to give you the ringing sound. हे बघा हे चांगलं वास्तव डेरा, purchase it. Or if that person is not doing it, you are doing that test, but he may not allow you. That person is working on thumb rule. He don't know. खणखणीत आवाज येते म्हणजे चांगलं, एवढंच त्याला माहिती. What is logic behind it? The part which don't have any crack will give good ringing sound. I repeat once again, the part which don't have any crack will give good ringing sound. If there is a crack, it will give dull sound. कारण तो साऊंड ऍब्सॉर्ब केला जातो त्या क्रॅक मध्ये. म्हणून जर डेऱ्यामध्ये क्रॅक असेल तर तो डल आवाज येतो, असा धबधबा आवाज येतो. आणि जर व्यवस्थित असेल तर घणघण असा आवाज येतो. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? देअर यू कांट सी वेर इज अ क्रॅक. ओनली यू नो दॅट देर इज अ क्रॅक, but you can't see. Are you getting my point? But now we are playing with metals. We are not playing with other pots. You can't take this stone and make impact, or you can't do it by your fingers also. So you have to check it by iron rod or steel rod. You have to take this steel rod and you have to apply on your casting in this way. This sound will be sensed by the skilled operator, and he can say, okay, this is okay, this is not okay. And if skill is very powerful, he can just absolutely do his experiment maybe more than 95% correct level. So that depends upon skill. You may feel it is defective, I may not feel it is defective, then that may be difficult. So that's why sound test and visual test are called as non-standard test, and they are not giving, they are just, yes, there is a crack, but you can't measure it. Now, visually you can see, but sound test at least help to check surface as well as subsurface, because dull sound may reflects that there is a crack somewhere inside also. Are you getting my point? But you can't see where it is. And that's why these remaining tests plays important role to check surface cracks as well as subsurface cracks. below surface level, not visible to your naked eyes. Surface च्या आत means body च्या आतलं. Whether you can see stomach? No. See your heart? No. You can see the fingers and palm that way. The part or the crack which is inside the metallic body. How to check these cracks? So magnetic particle test, dye penetrant test, ultrasonic test, radiographic test, and electron test. I have some pictures of it. So tomorrow, don't miss the class. We'll complete these all with PPTs as well as on Blackboard both. Okay. So this is all about non-destructive testing. We will stop here. Okay. Thank you very much.